Spellmate Discipuli. Today we're talking about time expressions. Now, we touched on this a little bit when we were reviewing for the National Latin exam, but today we're going to get more into the details. So time expressions in Latin come basically in two different forms. There's the accusative, which shows us the length of time for how long something happens, how long it took for an action to occur. And the ablative of time when, which tells us the specific moment in time that something happened. And so the accusative shows length of time. That's also sometimes called the duration of time or the extent of time, which is all basically just terms for the same thing, right? How long did this take? And it's going to be pretty easy actually for us to recognize these in Latin because we're going to have a time word in the accusative. And so an example of this would be horas, hours, or dies, days, or anos, years. And in addition to that time word, because we're talking about for how long something happened, we're usually also going to have a quantity word, an amount word. So something like tres horas for 3 hours, or multos dias for many years, that kind of thing. And you'll notice there that I kept saying for. And so when we're translating the length of time into English, we are most of the time going to say for. Because again, we're talking about for how long something happened. So switching gears, the ablative is talking about a specific moment. And so it's called time when, but also includes a concept that's time within which. And some textbooks present this as an entirely separate concept, but it's really just two aspects of the same thing. The ablative, again, is specific time. So it's telling us when something happened, at what time something happened, or within what time frame something happened. And again, it's going to be easy to recognize because we're going to have a time word, and that time word is going to be ablative. So instead of horas, hora, instead of dies, die, instead of anos, ano. When it comes to translating the ablative of time when, we do have a few more options. We can use in or on, we can use at, and we can use within. So something like on the third day, or at the fourth hour, or within 3 weeks are all examples of specific time. Even that last one, within 3 weeks, which sounds like, wait, aren't you talking about length of time? But it's that within that's the key there, because we're not talking about something that happened for 3 weeks. We're talking about something that happened at one specific moment within that 3-week period. So just to summarize, again, the accusative is length of time. So it shows us for how long something happened. It's going to have a time word in the accusative without a preposition, and we're going to translate it for. The ablative is time when, so it tells us when, at what time, or within what time frame something happens. It's an ablative word, an ablative time word without a preposition, and it's translated in or on, at, or within. So let's take a look together at the first parsing sentence. Tribus diebus revenire sperant. So right away we notice tribus diebus is a time word. And diebus, of course, is ablative. And dies lives in fifth declension. So that abus ending tells us that it's plural. And because it's fifth declension, we can assume it's feminine. Since we have a time word and we're in the ablative case, our sentence role is going to be time when. So the translation. We're going to start as usual with our verb sperant, which comes from spero, to hope, and it's third person plural and present tense. So they hope, or here actually maybe they are hoping. And then we have complementary infinitive, revenire. They're hoping to return. And then we've got our ablative of time one, tribus diebus. So again, we have a couple of options, and it's really just a matter of figuring out what fits best in the sentence. So here, we're probably not going to use, for example, at, because they are hoping to return at 3 days. Just doesn't make any sense in English. So we're going to probably use either within or just in. They are hoping to return in 3 days. So again, this is the ablative of time when. So when are they hoping to return? They are hoping to return in 3 days. The information is telling us when it's happening. So one more quick recap. Accusative, length of time, for how long something happens. Ablative, time when, at what time something happens.